Before we start this video, thank you to the members of both of the channels. We finally got word from Mattel. We finally actually got some information about the brand new reboot. How many months later since we first heard about it in January? So I will play this audio clip for you guys. It is about 1 minute long. This comes from Mattel themselves. They're talking about the reboot of Thomas, the merchandise of Thomas. They're talking about the past failures of Thomas, which would be All Engines Go, Big World, Big Adventures, and the CGI era. And someone also pointed out a very good point saying, what's going to make this reboot actually successful, knowing that Thomas has failed 3 times in the past? So, guys, take a listen to this audio, and then we will talk about it after.
Out, which is Thomas and Friends, that we will be relaunching in the second half of this year. It's a new interpretation of that classic character. We're going to anchor that relaunch with premium animated content, new product lines, and branding. So those two initiatives within the preschool side of the house are very exciting for us to see.
Great. I guess just on Thomas and Friends, the brand's been relaunched multiple times. What gives you the confidence that this time could lead to more durable growth for the business?
Absolutely. I think the team has done a tremendous job in finding the right line between keeping the classic elements of the characters, so it continues to have multi-generational appeal, but updating it to today's moment, and also embedding some of the storylines on realities that the parents are dealing with right now. There's a whole aspect about de-accelerating a little bit that parents are concerned about in terms of their kids being overstimulated. So we feel that there's a very unique positioning for the brand and maintaining again that classic with a modern twist approach to it, which is very different than some of the relaunches that were attempted in the past where they were bigger departures. I think there is something else, which is we're anchoring the line on a very successful formula of DIECAST that we know from Hot Wheels, and we have incredible know-how in terms of managing the appeal of collectible lines like that. So it's a completely new approach, and we believe that it gives us a very good chance of reestablishing this franchise for the future.
So first off, this confirms that Mattel has purposefully kind of gone backwards on Thomas and Friends. They are now making this reboot, at least from what this sounds like, wanting to de-accelerate, kids being overstimulated, and now they're making Thomas possibly slower, possibly just trying to get back to classic Thomas and Friends so kids can actually sit down and watch a show, not have everything thrown in their face and not be overstimulated like this guy just said that the parents are worried about. So hopefully that guy actually is telling the truth, and this show holds true to that. Classic aspects of Thomas coming back into this reboot for a bigger generational, multi-generational appeal, which would be older fans like a fan like myself, and then we also have the younger generation, the young kids with parents growing up watching all the new Thomas stuff. So it's got to appeal to multiple generations. First off, if you want the merchandise to sell, because parents are not going to buy every single release of merchandise nowadays. That's just a fact. Toys are harder to buy nowadays than they've ever been, simply because, well, in terms of Mattel, their distribution's terrible. And in terms of Thomas's toys have never been stocked fully anywhere ever before, pretty much ever since Mattel took over. It might just be a Mattel thing, but if you want your toys to fully succeed, you have to appeal to the older fans, that's for sure. So Thomas is going to be slower compared to All Engines Go and Big World, Big Adventures. So this reboot will be slower, have classic elements. It's supposed to be a multi-generational, appeal of a Thomas show. So all of those aspects are good things to hear. Then he also talked about how All Engines Go and Big World, Big Adventures are 2 reboots that failed, and they were meant to be more modernized, fast-paced, like brain rot kid slop, which is why, yes, they failed. They did not connect with kids. And then we also he's talking about DIECAST line. So in my opinion, this basically confirms that Motorized was a complete afterthought. Motorized will be canceled. I think Motorized will be canceled sooner or later. I think the only reason why Motorized has stuck around is because they might have been too scared to cut off Motorized for a brand new reboot, because let's face it, if you're making a brand new reboot of Thomas, it's kind of smart to keep the Motorized line around because everyone's going to buy it because it's something new. So they might keep it around for a little bit, but in my opinion, other than that wow factor of a brand new reboot, Motorized is only around because it's compatible with the same track and sets as the diecast engines. Not even really compatible, they just kind of fit on the same track. But if the diecast engines become the only merchandise, like he said, Thomas is basically going to become Hot Wheels for merchandise. So we are going to be getting every single character, every single possible Thomas thing under the sun released in the diecast and metal line, just like Hot Wheels did, just like I guess the Cars line did. Cars released like every character from all three movies apparently. So that's what Thomas will be becoming. No more Wooden Railway, that's for sure. I mean, Wooden Railway, I think you could have assumed was never coming back, but I think this really confirms Wooden Railway is never coming back. Motorized was an afterthought. Motorized is not the focus. Diecast is the focus. The success of Hot Wheels Diecast is the focus. And so hopefully this does not backfire and make it to where, Mattel just deems Thomas merchandise not as profitable because I mean, let's face it, the diecast engines are what? $4. The big engines are $9, $5, $9, whatever that is. And so hopefully they actually give us enough variety to where they can actually make sales because if we're comparing previous years of Thomas, we were not getting enough characters. Mattel really has never given us enough Thomas characters in their Mattel lines. And so hopefully they really do that this year with this brand new reboot. Classic characters, brand new characters, and they're also going to release all the CGI newbies, of course, because we have engines like Timothy coming back and Victor, etc. But then we also have Boko coming back and Stepney. So we just need like all three eras of characters to be released in diecast and rolling stock and roadway vehicles and all that stuff. And if they do cancel motorized, which I really hope they do because the quality control is so bad, and if they're not going to fix motorized, you might as well just cancel it and focus on diecast. They really have got to give us diecast exclusive sets, brand new track, brand new destinations. And I'm not talking about the slop they released this year because this year's slop is still tied to motorized. So we got to get rid of all of that stuff. And hopefully they do this within the next couple of years, maybe even after next year. So hopefully, in my perfect world, this year is the last year of motorized. In late 2027, 2028, motorized is stopped completely and we never see it again. And we're only getting diecast, brand new track that actually looks good, brand new destinations that actually look good. And we can basically have kind of like a Wooden Railway line, but just diecast. So imagine Ertl, but better. So hopefully they do that because motorized at this point, it's such an afterthought in fans' minds because the toys suck. And even Mattel's minds, motorized is an afterthought. But then again, classic elements to the show coming back. The show is going to be slower paced. It's not going to be as ADHD, brain rot garbage. So at least it won't be All Engines Go. It won't be Big World, Big Adventures at the very least. So that is exciting to hear. That's a good thing to hear. Hopefully this guy actually is telling the truth and the show is actually watchable for multi-generations, for multiple generations of people. It's actually watchable for parents, grandparents. Hopefully people are actually able to sit down and watch the show and recognize classic parts of it, considering a lot of people grew up with the models in the old series from the 90s and the 80s. So hopefully this reboot, I mean, we're hearing good stuff, good things to come. Hopefully we just got to get rid of motorized and we got to fix the quality control on the toys. Other than that, we just got to wait for the trailer